Meteorologist Mike Griffith here for Carolina Weather Pro. It is Tuesday, the 13th of June, 2017. We're currently looking at the infrared satellite imagery across the United States. And we have some action pushing into Michigan and some more action here out in the Dakotas and South Dakota. This is actually a storm complex that was moving across Wyoming, and there's a lot of footage out there of some damaging tornadoes and some huge hail out there. I don't know if you watch Weather Nation or not. They're a great weather channel. They're actually my favorite weather channel on TV, and they were really covering this well today. Follow them on Facebook. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you like Carolina Weather Pro on Facebook. That's me. I am meteorologist Mike Griffith. I also have another couple page admins on there, meteorologists as well, and we look forward to serving you. So this is the big upper level feature here in the western United States and the Rockies that has been dropping June snow out there as forecasted, and it is definitely white in some areas out there, mainly the higher elevations, but the snow levels have dropped down a little bit to maybe 5,000 feet or so, maybe 4,500 feet in some locations. Not really much lower than that though, so wherever it gets warmer as you go farther down the mountains, it's not going to be snow, it's going to be rain. But nonetheless, crazy situation out there in the western part of the United States with the snow. Really not heard of in middle of June. It does happen, but it's kind of rare. So this is a big upper level ridge right here, but we call this a dirty ridge because it has rain and showers and thunderstorms mixed into it. And normally a big heat wave ridge is going to be pure and it's going to have not a lot of rain. It's just going to be hot and dry under it. But that's not the case with this ridge right here. These storm systems will move into New England this morning and today, probably bringing some clouds. If the storms actually hold together, expect New England and upstate New York to be getting some severe weather here, even Toronto as we move into the early morning hours here. Down here in the Yucatan Peninsula is another tropical disturbance that we're watching. This isn't actually looking that impressive. The models have been going crazy over this. One has been taking it up into this area in here, which is the Canadian model. The GFS kind of just has it drift into Mexico like this, and I think this is the one that's going to end up winning, and it's just going to not really amount to a whole lot. Even a couple days ago, one model actually took it into Florida, and I don't see that happening here at all. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So this big area of disturbed weather here across the Gulf is just bringing lots of rain and storms and flooding to Florida. That's going to continue to be the case because of this blob of tropical moisture down here. Really what this is the flow around the high pressure system. The upper level ridge is right in here, and it's just kind of bringing the moisture around it, kind of like that, especially at lower levels. Let's take a look at the models here and see what they're saying as far as the future cast. By the way, it's going to be cloudy across North Carolina here on Tuesday, so I don't think the temperatures are going to reach what they're forecasting. Also up in Virginia as well. And if some of these clouds can make it into Philly, I don't think it's going to reach 94 degrees, but if the clouds stay away and it's hot and sunny there, then they definitely will hit the 94. Not hot as forecasted across much of the southeast because of all these clouds. Now we're looking at the jet stream basically at 500 millibars, and we're looking at a lot of the energy here. Here's the west coast storm system that's bringing snow, this upper level energy. Here's the big ridge that we're under here in the eastern part of the United States. But then take a look at this. The ridge kind of breaks down later this week as we go into tomorrow, today and tomorrow. That big ridge kind of shifts west. It kind of breaks off into two separate ridges. There's a ridge over the Atlantic, and we're going to have to watch this because of it's favorable for hurricanes to be making land strikes. Nothing out there right now, though, so no panic. This ridge out here in Mexico and Texas is broken off from this big one that we had, so it's going to kind of break down. Here comes that piece of energy across the northern part of the country that was the energy from the snowstorm system. You can see all the waves of energy lined up on the Gulf of Alaska and way out in the Pacific. This is basically the jet stream right here. So it's bringing lots of energy across the northern part of the United States, which is going to keep the thunderstorms active across the northern plains through the rest of this week. Here's that big ridge out here, and this bad boy just kind of builds, but it shifts west over to the Pacific and over into Mexico. And the upper level ridge just kind of builds out there. So it's going to be more hot in the southwest than it will be in the east. Upper level waves of energy moving through on Friday. Severe weather is possible all through later this week. Don't be surprised to see severe thunderstorm watches and tornado watches going up across much of the East Coast later this week, thinking Thursday, Friday, as this energy pushes east and as the jet stream kind of just is still a little strong across the northern part of the country. So we can expect some severe thunderstorms and some tornadic activity across the northern part of the country, even in the western Pennsylvania. And look at this big ridge here. California, Death Valley, they're going to be sweltering as we go into this weekend. Not a big deal for them because they're used to it this time of year. It's going to be hot, hot, hot out there in the southwest. They're going to be baking in the heat later this week. Here comes the continued energy across much of the northern half of the country. Here's some stronger short waves across Illinois and Missouri. Some severe thunderstorms and some tornadic activity is going to be likely there as we head into the weekend, Friday, Saturday, sometime in that time frame. It's going to stay active across the east. Couple of cold fronts moving through, bringing some severe weather across the northeast and mid-Atlantic, maybe even down to the Carolinas. And we're looking at a large-scale upper disturbance, which is going to bring cooler weather to much of the upper Midwest and much of the Northeast as we go later into the weekend and into early next week. This is going to be a cool down here across much of the eastern half of the country here as we are into the 20th of June, which is Tuesday of next week. And then that ridge over the western part of the United States intensifies so much. It's just going to be so hot out there in the Four Corners and Phoenix and Los Angeles. It's just going to be a summertime sweltering heat wave out there. We're looking at the 20th of June right now. Again, trough in the east, cooler than usual as we go into the 20th and the 21st here. The west just continues to bake. East remains unsettled with lots of rain, lots of showers and thunderstorms, and lots of them could be severe. Very, very hot continued into the west here into the 24th, which is next weekend. The weekend after this weekend, it's next weekend. Another big, strong trough in the east part of the United States, bringing some more severe weather likely across much of the east. That's going to be the story. It's going to be also cool and rainy after the severe weather moves through is what it's looking like here. And here comes our next disturbance moving into the Pacific Northwest on the 28th of June later this month. And it looks like a big ridge, another upper-level feature tries to form across the central part of the country. We'll zoom in here. And here is the upper ridge, a big area of high pressure, and just lots of heat and humidity. And it's probably going to be dry is what I'm thinking here as we are going into later this month. It looks like that heat ridge builds once again across much of the middle part of the United States into the 29th. And some more chilly air, some rain, maybe even some mountain snows once again into the 29th. This is crazy for this time of year. Now, let's take a look at the temperatures and what we can expect for now through later this month into early, well, I want to say into late June anyway. So here's the heat right now as we go to Tuesday and Wednesday in the east, and that starts to break down a little bit as we go into the weekend. Here's a little cool shot for Virginia and the Mid-Atlantic as we go into Thursday and then Friday. Really cooling off a lot here in the east. The northeast is more likely to get cooled off. Seasonable down here in the southeast. Nothing really to write home about. Lots of rain and showers, though, keeping it maybe a little bit below average. Very hot in the central part of the United States and the Pacific Northwest. Very chilly and cool, especially with that snow that might quickly melt, but some of it might stick and keep it cool out there in the Northwest and the mountains. It's going to be hot, seasonable, summertime. No big surprise there. And the weekend in the east. And then it gets a little bit warm as we go into the weekend. And here comes a nice big cold shot of air, which is going to cause a battle zone right in through here of severe weather for the late weekend, maybe Saturday and the Sunday, depending on the timing or the arrival of the severe weather. And then that air just kind of collides into the northeast. Way below normal temperatures here as we go into Monday and Tuesday on the 20th. No surprise there, because we're looking at the upper level pattern earlier to East Coast trough. and then the west begins to bake and swelter. So that's the pattern we're going into here into the 20th, into the June 20th or the 28th or so. It's going to be cooler than usual in the east and a heat ridge of high pressure out there in the west. And some blocking up here in Greenland, which means it's going to keep temperatures stormy and chilly across much of the eastern United States in the 27th of June. We're looking at the 28th now. Still a little bit chilly. It might start to warm up a little bit, especially across the nation's heartland. But then we're looking at another shot of chilly air here into the 29th. But then it's going to be, the model's really confused right here. It's not going to be accurate this far out. But we were looking at a trough in the east and a ridge in the west. And that's kind of like what I was saying at the beginning of the summer. So we'll have to see how this pattern evolves for now. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching this segment of Carolina Weather Pro. You can find me on Facebook at Carolina Weather Pro. And also check out ecwxa.com online for all the latest news and updates. And I'll actually, this is actually a blog article, so thanks a lot for viewing. Anybody in the Mid-Atlantic Weather Center, I want to say hi. I want to give a shout out to Mike Felt, another Penn State student in meteorology. And I just want to wish everybody a great rest of your week.